Thanks for tuning in to the BSN Avalanche Weekly Breakdown presented by Piper Electric. Are you in need of an electrician and don't know who to trust? Well, Piper Electric should be your first call. They're fairly priced, trustworthy, dependable, and have been your hometown electrician for over 35 years. If you use the promo code BSN, you will get $25 off your next service call. I'm Allie Monroy, and with me today is Adrian Dater. So, the Colorado Avalanche fell once again in overtime, this time to the Florida Panthers. They have the worst overtime record in the league at 1-12 this season. What is the reason? Is it a curse? Is it the special teams coaching? What's going on? What do you think is the reason for this, Dater?
Honestly, Allie, I don't know. I'm sort of out of solutions and diagnoses of this. This is ridiculous. It's gotten to the point of beyond comprehension. I mean, not only is it the worst record in the league overtime-wise, it's the worst record in NHL history since they started going to 4-4 overtime, so the Avs have a very dubious distinction right now. The Avalanche keep finding new ways to lose in overtime. One night it's a bad line change. One night it's a lost face-off at a key time. One night it's a really bad bumbling save that they should have made. One night it's a blown tire on a blocked shot. St. Louis game they had power play in overtime, and they lost on a shorthanded goal to Ryan O'Reilly. Something new every night. Last night, ironically, they won the face-off, something they don't always do, so they get the puck to start possession. That's good. Sam Girard comes down the wing. He's got a great chance, blasts a shot that was ticketed right to that top right corner. Roberto Luongo, 39 years old, flashes the glove, of course, makes the save. He always beats the Avs. Allie, look, blame it on me. I mean, it's a curse maybe. I've been a fan of teams with curses before. The Red Sox, 1918, 2004. It finally ended. This will end too. But God almighty, I mean, if they just win half of the overtime games, they're in the playoffs probably guaranteed. It's been a killer. There's 19 games to go. This will end at some point, but it better happen soon.
Well, moving forward, the Avs are still in an okay spot. They are tied at 66 points with the Minnesota Wild for the second wildcard spot in the West. Do you think fans should be optimistic about this team making it to the playoffs this year?
I would be cautiously optimistic. Okay. There's been enough weird stuff with this team this year where I don't think you can ever feel too confident or comfortable about anything. We wrote them off a couple weeks ago. Then they go into Winnipeg and beat them.
Well, you wrote them off.
Judging by my Twitter feed, it might have. But here they are. They won 5 out of 6. They got a point last night. It wasn't a disastrous night. I think they should be cautiously optimistic because I think they're a better team than Minnesota Wild. I think down the stretch, they'll find a way to get one more point than Minnesota Wild. Here's the problem, though. They don't just have the Minnesota Wild to contend with. They have the Arizona Coyotes, who have been kind of a underground success story. They've got a lot of young players who are kind of excited to be in the playoff hunt. So they've got to deal with them. They've got to deal still with Chicago, who's kind of hanging around. And they've got to deal with the Vancouver Canucks, who are right there behind the Avs too. And they play in Denver Wednesday night against the Avalanche. That is a very big game. But I think the Avalanche have the better team out of those group. Now, executing the fundamentals, winning the games is what you have to do. But I think they, and here's the other thing. They were a couple points out of the playoffs last year at this time. 2 or 3, 4 points. They made it. So, you don't always, I don't like to go back in history and compare it too much. But this is the same group of guys that was out of it last year and found a way. And so that matters. I think they can take some support from that. And that's why I think you should be cautiously optimistic.
Well, the Avs acquired center Derick Brassard from the Panthers before the trade deadline on Monday. What are your thoughts on that move?
Good pickup by the Avs. Very good pickup. I mean, this is a guy who was very highly sought after on the open market just 2 or 3 years ago. He is a veteran guy who's not too old, though. He's only 31. He had 60 points for a New York Rangers team just 2 or 3 years ago. They made the Stanley Cup Finals with Derick Brassard as a key player. He's a proven playoff player, too. I think he's got some motivation to show people that he's not washed up. He's only 31. He's had a tough year. He's been traded twice now. I think there's some stress in his life over that. I talked to him yesterday, and he was a little nervous, a little stressed out over the whole day. But, he scores a goal his first game. That helped get a point. That matters. And he won 9 out of 12 faceoffs, which is something he's very good at. And we all know the Avalanche could use some help in that department. So this was a very underrated, great move, I think, by Joe Sakic. Gave up a third-round pick. You never know what that could turn into. Could be a great player. You don't know. But I think this is a worthwhile trade for Joe Sakic for a team that still wants to make the playoffs. And once you're in, anything can happen.
Well, like you mentioned, the Avs host the Vancouver Canucks at the Pepsi Center on Wednesday, and then they travel to San Jose to face off against the Sharks. What are a few things you'll be watching for in those matchups?
Well, I'll be at that game Friday night for BSN Denver, and so I'll be watching for them to hopefully get out to a good start, because San Jose is a tough crowd. They've got a very loud building in there. It's not just because of the fans' voices, but it's the way the building is designed. It's all made out of metal. It's weird. It's all a metal arena, basically. All the walls are metal, like cheap kind of sheetrock metal. Uh-huh. So sound just kind of ricochets off the whole building. It's a very loud building. So take that crowd out of it early. Get an early goal. It's going to be a Friday night crowd in San Jose. All those rich Silicon Valley people are going to have the day off the next day, so they're going to be drinking a little more of that craft beer and stuff like that. And they're going to be a loud crowd. They're a good team, San Jose. Always a good team. So get out early is what I'll be watching for. If they do that, I think they've got a good fighting chance against that team, and they've shown recently they can beat good teams on the road.
Well, be sure to subscribe to the best Denver sports coverage around on bsndenver.com. For Adrian Dater, I'm Allie Mondroy, BSN Denver. From residential, commercial, to industrial, Piper Electric can handle all of your electrical needs. Call today and use promo code BSN to get $25 off your next service call. That's 303-647-6765, or go to piperelectric.com.